Hello and welcome to the Fandom podcast with your host Joe and the Galaxy's resident bottomless pit expert Tom. That'll be me. Hi Joe, how we doing?
Good, Tom. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I say we're all good, but we've been a bit of ill, haven't we? Bit of ill.
Yeah, I feel like we should. I feel like we should warn people in case of any rogue coughs that come through.
Yeah, more you than me, but I've got more of a sore throat, sore ear kind of thing going on at the moment, which is lovely. Yeah, this is September's episode of Fandoms podcast. If it's your first time listening, we're discussing everything about different fandoms, gaming, Star Wars, and beyond. But what we're discussing today is the latest game releases. As usual, I'll kick off that to start off with our first impressions of Starfield, the current state of simulators, and the closure of Volition, and a bit more. So, let me just start you off with some gaming releases from this month. Some have already passed, but you might not be aware of them. You probably will be aware of this one, though. Start us off on the 6th of September is Starfield for PC and Xbox.
What
then
game?
On the 8th of September, we've got the NBA 2K24 for those people that are interested on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. The Pokemon Scarlet Violet Hidden Treasure of Area Zero DLC Part 1, the Teal Mask, what a mouthful that is for a name. 13th of September for the Switch, so that should be out currently. 14th of September was the Crew Motorfest, early access from the 11th, from PC, Xbox, Switch, and PlayStation, which I must say is turning up to be a very, very good arcade racer at the moment. One of the games I've picked up. Next on the 14th of September, this probably has gone under your radar, but Heavy Duty Challenge for Xbox, PlayStation. It's an open world truck exploration with obstacle course and trial events. So it's basically truck sports. It's a little bit like SnowRunner, but it's more focused on the sporting trucks aspect of it.
I hadn't heard of that, but that's something I want to go and look at now.
Yeah, it is on Steam, so you can go and check that out on the Steam store. Following on to the 19th was Mortal Kombat 1 for Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. Then we've got Lies of P, 19th of September, Xbox, PC, and PS. Party Animals comes out on the 20th of September for PC and Xbox. It's a kind of fun team and co-op games, a little bit similar to Fall Guys, not exactly, but it's kind of party game sort of stuff, but with animals. So that's quite quirky and cool. Then on the 21st of September is Payday 3. And early access is from the 18th for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation.
Tom, is that the one that you're interested in?
Yes, it absolutely is. Yeah.
Never would have guessed.
No, it's not like I mention it on every single podcast so far. No.
No, of course not.
I did want to quickly mention there was an open beta a couple of weeks ago, so I got to actually play it. So I'm happy with the game. Obviously, it was an April build, so it's like 5 months old, but still, we get to see the full game on the 18th, which is going to be nice. So by the time you're listening to this podcast, I'm already playing it. But as the time of the recording, it's tomorrow for us. Yeah. You
must be buzzing.
I'm breaking my stream schedule and streaming tomorrow, so, you know. On the 26th of September, we've got the Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty DLC for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. There's also going to be some quality of life updates for Cyberpunk as well, and they're going to be free updates as well. And that DLC actually includes Idris Elba, for those that are interested. So it's kind of a spy DLC story element to Cyberpunk, which is pretty cool. And then on the 26th of September for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation is Train Sim World 4. Now, that nicely goes into our very first topic I wanted to talk about, which was the state of simulator games. Because it was Train Sim World that really got me thinking about the release schedules, whether they're too close together, because I wanted to kind of delve into this for a reason. Because I thought to myself, Train Sim World 3 came out not that long ago, and I was wondering, when was that? So here is the timeline of the game franchise. So Train Sim World 1 came out on the 21st of July 2018. Train Sim World 2, which are the two Train Sim Worlds I actually own, is the 20th of August 2020. The one that I didn't get was Train Sim World 3, which came out on the 2nd of September 2022. So last year. Train Sim World 4 is coming out on the 26th. So it's roughly a year. Just about. You could just about squeeze in a year's later. So it's... I'm thinking, is it a cash grab, or are they dealing with a mistake? Because if you look at all those release schedules, they're getting closer together.
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't surprise me because whoever I can't think of who it is
Dovetail.
Behind Train Sim, Dovetail.
Yeah.
Dovetail on Train Sim Classic did release a new version of the game every year.
Yeah.
However, I must say what they did in terms of doing that release, obviously all your DLC carried over because realistically it was just, I guess, game engine updates that you would call it, or like, feature updates that you would get for free. The only thing you would have to buy basically is the new routes. So for anyone not familiar with Train Sim Classic, they would do 3 or 4 routes bundled with the game, the base game. Some of them were usually exclusive to the base game as well, so you had to kind of buy that year's edition to get some of those routes. But yeah, all the DLC carried over, so there was no change. You could still carry on playing. You didn't have to buy anything because you got that update for free, and you could still go and buy all the DLC, and you never had to buy the base game again once you bought it, unless you wanted those new routes. And to be fair, I think most of them have then been released later on down the line. It might be another couple of years before we get it, but it is released. Train Sim World is a little bit different because, again, I've sort of noticed this as well. It's a full re-release of the game. They're putting new features in it, so it may be in, I don't know, 4 or 5 years' time that we see them doing the same as what they do with Train Sim Classic. But at the moment, it is a full new game. You do carry over the DLC, you do carry over the routes, but you have to buy the base game to get all of the updates. It's not like Classic where you got those free sort of technology updates, I guess you call it.
That's what I liked about Train Sim Classic, though. Like, I remember buying 2014 version in game. I have a physical edition, but obviously it had a Steam code inside. And I was also really surprised because I didn't know this. Obviously, at the time when I got it, every single year it would update to the next year and the next year and the next year.
Yeah.
And then obviously it became Train Sim Classic when Train Sim World came out. Or a little bit later anyway, because obviously Train Sim World has the newer engine. It has lovely graphics and all, a newer engine, and Train Simulator Classic is on the old engine still, I believe, unless they've updated it.
No, it's still the same engine. It's been on for years. I don't know how long now.
It's got like £4,000 worth of DLC though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then even then you've got the modding side as well. Yeah. Which is something I had to get used to when I was looking at that kind of side of things for Train Sim Classic. There are paid routes made by independent developers, and apparently that's the norm. Yeah. I mean, some of them are fantastic and better than what Dovetail puts out, but yeah, that was a weird thing to get used to. I
mean, Train Sim Classic is still pumping out routes and stuff because they've recently released Carlisle Glasgow route, which I know one of my Scottish friends has started playing Train Simulator again just for that route. So they're still going. I think
they still do the yearly update as well.
Yeah, it might do. It would make sense. But for Train Sim World, it just seems... I just want it to be better in the way that they're doing things, because if it's going to become a yearly thing, simulators, in my opinion, shouldn't be a yearly thing, because they're one of those things that doesn't really tends to need updates every single year. It'll become a FIFA or a Call of Duty, which, have their own reputation of themselves. I say FIFA, but FIFA doesn't exist anymore.
Does it not?
No, it's now that FIFA have separated ways from EA, so it's EA have made their own. It's like EA Sports FC now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, this year's the first year of it coming out like that now.
Ah, I mean, not a game that I played for many, many years, so I don't follow it. But yeah, I mean, going back to Train Sim World, there, I don't mind if they want to do an update every year, but I want them to start adopting a model like they do with Train Sim Classic.
Yeah,
put in new features, put in new ideas and stuff. That's cool. I'll do that for free as the free update, but then bundled together. I mean, like I say, with Train Sim Classic, they do 4 routes. I imagine it takes more to create routes for Train Sim World. But again, bundle together a couple of routes and say, here's the base game. You can buy it again, and you'll get all these routes exclusive. But you also get your hardware, your software updates for free.
What I do know about the new Train Sim World is there is some improvements in terms of there's an editor, there's a photo mode now. It seems like this new editor is trying to potentially encourage modding this time around, which is, I would say, essential for a simulator because modding communities keep those games alive, particularly. But what I've also noticed is that they've got a good selection of routes and stuff. I know the deluxe edition has the inclusion of the Flying Scotsman as a locomotive, which is pretty cool.
So I'm interested in.
Yeah. Obviously, you can't get that with standard, but that's one of I think the middle tiered game has. But what I also noticed, because obviously I own Train Sim 1 and 2, I actually have a slight loyalty discount for Train Sim World 3. Sorry, 4. Actually, 4. I've skipped 3.
Oh.
And I have a loyalty discount slightly. It's very small, but it's still something.
I have 3. I picked up from a Humble Bundle and I got it very cheaply. I think I paid about 20 quid for it and all of the DLC, which was a steal. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm curious to see what Train Sim World 4 gives us. But again, it's whether I want to fork out all that money again. Yeah,
I mean, I get a 25% loyalty discount, which apparently will end when it releases. So the standard edition I can get for £30 instead of the £40. So I get 25% off. So that's quite actually good, to be fair. And
yeah, I've just had a look. I get that as well. That's interesting.
You know, I've been wanting to get into. I mean, my Xbox Game Pass has just finished, and I tried Train Sim World 4, but yet again with Xbox Game Pass, another game just was broken. Couldn't really play much of it because I was actually recently I've been interested in getting into Train Sim World 3, but then they announced Train Sim World 4, so I'm like, well, there's no point now. Maybe I'll go for Train Sim World 4. But this loyalty discount kind of makes it a little bit kind of better, you know, because we already have it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll always take a saving. Savings are good.
I mean, I'm jumping from 2 to 4 instead of 3 to 4. I think people that might have 3 might be a little bit skeptical because they've bought it basically a year ago and already we've got a new game. But as I said at the start of this topic, is this classic dovetail doing cash grab, or did they make a huge mistake with Train Sim World 3 to the point where they had to bring out a new game basically a year later? It might be, but they've added new features like that editor sort of mode, the photo mode, which was quite interesting, and some other features which I think it might be going to the correct direction. But for me, the improvements that Train Sim World needs is a proper career with the virtual currency system, like we see in the simulators that we enjoy and the ones that have this extended lifespan. You know, as I've said earlier, modding for other sims extends that life cycle of that game, double, triple, quadruple, whatever you want to put it at, more than its standard content. Well,
as an example, let's look at our favourite simulator.
Yeah, Euro Truck.
You know, every Tuesday we play some Euro Truck. I think you made a note of the release date, didn't you?
Yes, I'm going to get to that in a minute, actually, because I wanted to delve more into that.
Yeah, but look at that. That has been going for however many years now.
Yeah.
And thanks to the modding community, it's, if anything, I'd argue more alive than ever.
Yeah.
Because people have put so much time into it. People have continued to develop it and expand it. It's so much bigger now than it was when it released. And that's not even thinking about the DLC that they've released.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Certainly for simulator games, modding is basically a lifeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel that simulator games, you know, I don't mind them coming out every 3 years or every 4 years, but Euro Truck, you know, Euro Truck Simulator 2 has, although it's the second game of the franchise, you know, they massively improved it and then they've just kept it going from there. But what I'd also like to see from Train Sim World now is less DLC, more free updates. I think that's what we need. I think that's what loads of people just don't like, the fact that all these new routes are always DLC, and I think there should be a bit more of a split. Some should be free, sure, but some should be paid. Absolutely.
Do you know what? That actually has me curious what their routes go for. Oh, here we go. So I've got Steam open at the moment, just having a look.
Yeah, yeah.
Racing World 3, ScotRail Express, Edinburgh to Glasgow route add-on. So I think that's a pretty recent release.
Mm-hmm.
26th of Jan, so start of the year, but
yeah,
30 quid.
Oh,
So to buy a route, certainly for Train Sim World, you're basically paying the price of a new game.
that is steep.
I mean, they're not all like that. Well, the next one in the list is Train Sim World 3 Thameslink BR Class 700 EMU add-on. So it's a train rather than a route, but that's still 13 quid.
13's not too bad.
No. So it looks like trains are around sort of 12, 13 pounds.
I suppose they're
Routes
thinking,
are around 20 to...
I suppose they're thinking there's more effort going into a route than a locomotive because there's so much more to do.
Yeah, there's a lot you've got to think about,
Because
definitely.
there's all the world design and tracks. And
Yeah. You've got assets to think about as well as building a route, and yeah, definitely more goes into that, and I can understand that, definitely. But when you consider you're basically buying a whole new game, price-wise, for a single route, I think we could probably do with getting the base game, or again, sorry, like Train Sim Classic, getting the base game updates, the software updates, the technical updates for free, and then like I say, if they want to do a bundle of a couple of routes, cool, I'm happy to buy that each year, because then I feel like I'm getting something worthwhile. And I know we're getting routes with this, don't get me wrong, but I think what we're trying to say is it's about giving people that option. If you want to buy the routes, fantastic, you've got a year to buy it. But if you don't, you just want the technology upgrades, brilliant, carry on playing, you have at it. I think, like you said, I think we kind of need to see a shift back towards that. They still do it with Train Sim Classics, we know they're capable of doing it. Yeah. It'd just be nice to see them bring that to Train Sim World.
Yeah, I mean, going back to that kind of career mode, I mean, look at the likes and the virtual currency system, Construction Sim, ETS2, American Truck Simulator, even Bus Sim 18 has that aspect. Train Simulator at the moment is just a sandbox, and I don't like that aspect. I like that because I think what really gets people engaged and keeps going is that career mode, that earning something, that progression system, you know. I don't know if you've heard of Derail Valley Simulator.
I have heard of it, yeah.
Because I'm going to reference that, because that one has a huge... obviously, it's only focused on freight, but it has this huge progression system. You have to buy different licenses and different things that you can upgrade. It's a bit more gimmicky, but it's very, very realistic. I've watched Squirrel play it, and my god, does it look amazing. But it does it right. You know, yes, you can walk around and do everything, but you have to earn your licenses through money, and you have to, you know, I'd love to see that for Train Sim World, where you've got either it's a combination between Derail Valley, where you've got earn licenses, and a bit like Bus Sim, where you're part of a firm or a company, or you start with somebody else's company, then you start your own, or, you know, something like that. I'd like to see that, because I think more people would be more inclined to go for that because there is progression instead of this big sandbox, which I don't think everybody. Some people, yeah, I like that. Keep that feature by all means, but have the added on of a career mode. Because
I mean, there is a career mode of sorts, and there is a progression system. But I'll be honest, I've never understood the point of it in Train Sim World because I don't understand what you get for progressing.
You get AP, which is action points. Everything that you do in Train Sim World, you get action points and you level up and stuff. But for me, particularly from someone in Train Sim World 2 that's not really delved into 3 or 4, I'm not sure how much that's changed. But from my experience, it doesn't do anything. It's just you've leveled up. That's it. You know, it doesn't get you anything. Or
that's largely been my experience as well.
Go towards anything. I think my very small experience when I was at Game Pass on Train Sim World 3, I managed to go through the tutorial, but I think that there was a challenges segment which your AP went towards or something. I'm not quite sure, but there was some sort of improvement. Well, I wasn't 100% sure on.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, you know, we need something like Eurotruck in the train world. That's what we need. You know, look at Eurotruck. It came in 2012. It has constant updates, additions, plus it's got its modding community. It does 2 DLCs a year, maybe a little bit more. It depends on how much time they're working on it, because they're side note, they're taking their sweet ass time on the West Baltics.
Although, actually, you say that about them releasing DLC, but they also, on top of releasing DLC through the year, they're also updating older parts of the map for free.
Yeah.
Or some of it for free, some of it is DLC. But again, there's a lot of work that goes into some of these reworks.
And if you think about it, from 2012 to current 2023, there are 83 pieces of DLC, and there are 2 free ones. And they are map expansions, paint jobs, cargo packs, tuning packs, etc. So that's all for Eurotruck. Now, let's have a look at American Truck Simulator that came out in 2016. I can't believe it came out in 2016. So ATS, in comparison, has 41 DLC with 9 free, similar types of DLC as Euro Truck Simulator 2. You know, so we know it's possible. It's just whether the developers want more money or they just don't want to have that same kind of model. We look at Construction Simulator and Bus Sim. You know, they have that replay value as much as Euro Truck Simulator 2 and American Truck Simulator because they have that sort of career progression element. You know? Yeah.
I must admit, actually, I know I've spoken in Dovetail's defense here a little bit, but I'm going to speak against them a little bit as well. I'm going to play both sides of the field here.
Yeah.
Thinking back to Train Sim Classic, obviously I talked a lot about how they do the free updates and you can buy routes.
Yeah.
But actually talking about the routes themselves, you still pay a considerable amount to buy lots of routes. I mean, obviously you said there's about £4,000 worth of DLC out there.
Yeah.
Now, obviously I'm not going to look at that DLC in its entirety, but there are a number of routes there that you'll pay, I don't know, like 12, 15 quid for, which, yes, is less money, but you can pay a similar amount to third-party developers. Let's take Just Trains as an example. They're a brilliant developer. I've bought a couple of bits of DLC from them. And it's done to such a higher standard. Dovetail are pumping out this free, not free, sorry, these routes and add-ons and stuff. But realistically, what we're getting is a copy and paste of assets that we've had for 10, 15 years. Whereas Just Trains, as I say, you pay a similar amount for one of their routes. All right, you might have to buy trains and stuff as well and rolling stock, but you get fully custom assets. It might use some of the basic stuff from the base game to make it a little bit more accessible, but they'll create a load of assets themselves, and it's such a higher quality. So again, it kind of, just looking at your argument of, well, is it a cash grab? Well, you know, as much as Dovetail are updating things, they're also not. With Train Sim Classic at least. So I don't know. Maybe there is more they could be doing. They're obviously getting a lot of money off of us, those of us in the train sim community.
Yeah.
Maybe there's more that they could be doing to improve that experience for us.
And the kind of final things of this entire topic I wanted to kind of mention was I wanted to have a look at, again, Bus Sim. So Bus Sim released from 2016, then it released in 2018, and then 2021. So from what I can gather, it's very similar to Farming Sim. It seems to be every 2 years or so, but I'm hoping 2021 is going to continue for the next few years. They've recently put out a school bus mod DLC, which I thought was actually pretty cool, and I don't think any bus sim has actually done that to date. So that's kind of new and what seems to be quite good. Obviously, I own 2018. I haven't got 21 yet. Well, I'd like to be honest. But 18 was good. You know, you had to plan your routes. There was some sort of career. The map was good. You had to manage, you had the financial aspects of it. But I do feel that Bus Sim 21 might be the one that might be as close as we can to get a bus sim that's like Eurodruck. I'm hoping they'll keep it on for at least the next 3 years. Obviously, at the moment, it's 2 years old at the moment. There's been no announcement of the next bus sim, and I'm hoping they're going to keep it on. Obviously, no one bats an eye when it comes to Farming Sim because it's every 2 years, and we know that.
But then again, they're consistent, and we tend to see that the things that they put in, they include for free in the next release on top of whatever else.
There's a kind of jump. I feel that Train Sim World and particularly Train Simulators, a lot of copy and paste. That's how I felt. I think that's really what started off this topic. I thought it's more of a copy and paste, and let's release another one. So one to have an eye on, I think. And
again, I know I've said it already, but I would definitely like to see a shift in the way that they approach their updates. I prefer the way it was done with Train Sim Classic. Even with the routes not being the highest quality, as I said there, I'm still happier with that model. It'd be nice to see them do it with Train Sim World, and I think you're probably in agreement there, aren't you?
Yeah. Now, as much as I'd love to talk about simulators for the next hour, which we will have more than capable of doing so,
yes.
I think you've got some a TV series you want to talk about, Joe.
Yeah, Tom, this is going to be a difficult discussion because
we can't say anything.
I also don't want to give loads of spoilers, but for those of you that have been around for a while, whether it's with our individual channels or with the podcast now as well, we are massive fans, absolutely enormous fans of Star Wars, all things Star Wars.
Yes.
And you may be aware, obviously, the Ahsoka series is out. We've been waiting for this a long time. We've been gushing over it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And we're, 5 episodes in now?
Yeah, 5 episodes in.
Well, probably a couple more by the time this comes out, won't it?
Yeah. And the fun fact about episode 5 is it was actually broadcasted in cinemas in some places, I think mostly in America, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't hear anything about that over here, but that's very cool. It was a very cool episode. Again, I can't talk about it because I don't want to give loads of spoilers to people that haven't caught up or are maybe waiting to watch the whole thing in one go. Tom, how do I say that I love it without telling everyone what's happening?
I don't know. Trying as vague as possible. I mean, our favourite war criminal is getting some screen time, which I'm loving.
Oh my god, my favourite droid. I love that. I mean, we all know that Chopper's in it. We've seen him in all the adverts and the trailers and stuff, so we can talk about Chopper. Chopper is his sassy self. That nothing has changed, and I love it. I saw a comparison next to the model of Chopper they used for Rogue One as well. He looks so much better. They've made him look so much more like himself, which is brilliant.
I mean, the one from Rogue One, he's just a background cameo, so...
Yeah, I guess it didn't need to be super accurate, did it? No, and I mean, I missed it at the time, so fair enough. But yeah, obviously we're getting close-ups, he looks perfect. And I don't know about you, Tom, but whenever he talks in his chirps and beeps and stuff, I feel like I can understand him.
Yeah.
I feel like I understand what he's saying, and I'm like, he's talking English.
talking of Chopper, I did want to kind of go over to another droid of Yu Yang. Obviously.
Oh yes.
Voiced by our very favourite David Tennant. And when obviously we saw the trailer. Obviously, for those people that have seen Clone Wars, we know. Obviously, he voice acts those back then. But I'm utterly surprised the amount of screen time he has. I thought it was just going to be every so often. No, it's so much screen time for him.
He's a main character.
I know, and I love it.
I told you about this, I think, on the stream, but he got, I think it was an Emmy for his voice performance as Huyang in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So it's just great to see him back reprising that and giving it so much life.
Yeah.
Huyang is a fantastic character, definitely. Actually, that reminds me as well. Something I was discussing with Beth. I wonder if it's him actually there on set, because, like, if you remember, what was the name of the droid in Solo?
Oh,
you know who I'm thinking of, though, don't you? The one who ended up being implanted in the Falcon. Well, again, I can't remember who played the droid, but she was there in basically like a green morph suit with like a chest plate attached and like basically a helmet type thing to simulate where the head would be, and then they obviously painted out the green bits and put in like the skinny limbs and stuff.
It would definitely.
And I just wondered I
work.
wondered if it would be the same for Huyang. Is it him there with like the chest piece on and like maybe a mask, but then his arms are green? Because let's be honest, it looks skinnier than a human arm.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they've just painted his arm out and put the droid arm in. Yeah, I just wonder how they're doing it behind the scenes. But honestly, the performance is fantastic.
I also saw another fan theory yesterday.
Oh gosh.
And I thought, should I message you it? And then I thought, no, I'll keep it for the podcast. I'm glad I remembered. So
right.
Obviously, everybody has the hots for what's she called?
Oh, what, Hera?
No.
No, because I've seen people having the hots for Hera.
Blonde girl. I've forgotten her name.
Oh, Shin.
Yeah, Shin, that's it. People have a theory. This is going to blow your mind and absolutely think, why has someone come up with this? They're saying that Shin is actually Captain Phasma.
Oh, I saw this as well. No. Just get out. I'm not... Firstly, as I saw someone comment on this, how has she gone from 5'8" to 6'6"?
Yeah, that's what I saw. I saw that comment.
Fucking no way. Absolutely no way. Secondly, how has she gone from Force sensitive to I have no connection to the Force whatsoever? Oh, and I got put in a trash compactor. Yeah, nah. Sorry. No. I don't buy it. What a rubbish. Honestly, I've heard some silly fan theories, but that... No, I ain't got time for that. The
fan theories that, Ezra is Maverick. Oh, yeah. Of course, because that would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, because after all that time fighting the dark side, he'd just go,
screw it.
Why not? I will leave Thrawn there, but I'll turn and I'll come back. Yeah.
Yeah, that don't make sense at all. One thing I think people that have watched Rebels, watched Clone Wars, can tell. First few episodes were definitely for the people that didn't watch those series, because there was definitely that kind of build up to establishing these characters. But I don't think people that didn't watch Rebels and everybody else really appreciates the characters, particularly. Obviously, something happens to Sabine right at the start, and I'm thinking to myself, to us that love that character, that's a heartbreaker for us for what happens to her. Not to get into too much detail.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
But to some other people that are just getting used to her character, they're like, oh, that's happened to her. No big deal, right?
Yeah.
There's not that emotional connection that we do, then everybody else does. Oh, talking of Sabine, can we talk about that speeder that speeder seed? Oh, That speeder scene, which you see in the trailer, by the way.
That was so her, though.
It was so good.
That's the thing. Actually, I'm glad you brought up about those first couple of episodes. Yes, there was a lot of, hello, I'm this character.
Yeah.
Which, as you say, for us, we already know who they are. But it was nice to see that they have established the characters as we know them.
Yeah.
They're very true to those original characters. It doesn't feel like they've changed a lot about it. There's some things that I'm questioning a little bit and a bit like, what's that? Which again, I'm not going to go into too much. Watch the series and you'll probably understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But that said, they're very much the characters that we know and love. I know it's done by Dave Filoni, who created these characters, and of course he's going to be true to that. But it's, I don't know, as a fan, it's just nice to see them staying true to that.
Dave Filoni after episode 5. The GOAT! He is a god to all Star Wars. My god!
I loved episode 5. That was just him for the fans, I'm sure. I'm sure he just went, I'm just going to throw this in because they're going to love it. Because let's not forget, he's a fan like we are.
Obviously,
he loves it like we do, so he's sitting there going, oh my god, I would love this.
For those people that get the meme, I think you'll get the meme. It's I'm going to just say a quote here, just like the simulations.
Oh my god, yes.
Have you seen that?
Yeah. Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're talking about. Oh.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if I can say it. I don't know if it would be too much of a spoiler. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to leave it. Look, for those of you that have watched episode 5, you'll understand what I'm excited about and who I'm excited about. You might. There's a couple of people I'm excited about, but during the flashback scenes, someone is played by a character who has come back. So there's 2 characters that have come back. Specifically in the flashbacks, that should narrow it down enough for you. Specifically in the flashbacks, that person that came back, played by the original actor. I think, Tom, you might be with me now.
I think so, yeah.
I'm so glad he's back and playing that character now.
Oh yeah, I definitely know who you're on about now.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Our boy. I'm so glad he's playing that. I'm sure he said that he wants to play that character. I'm so sorry this is so vague, but I don't want to give spoilers away for those that haven't seen it yet. Yeah. It's a fantastic episode. If you haven't watched it, please go and watch it. Take some time. Lock yourself away so that no one can disturb you and just enjoy it for the masterpiece that it is. I mean, I'm talking about it as a fan, but Tom, I mean, when you look at it as a piece of film work and a piece of writing, would you not agree that it is a fantastic episode?
If you remember, I messaged you after obviously I wasn't sure when you messaged it, because obviously you messaged me first, and I said to you, oh yeah, it looks like it's just like a film. Yeah, it's. I feel like I've just gone and watched a film, not a TV episode of a series.
I feel like it was a bit of a heavy episode because there was a lot that happened. But oh my god, it's so good. Yeah, honestly, guys.
An interesting fact about this that I also told you as well is there's someone that has played a younger version of somebody, and this actor is infamous for doing this. So she did it in Infinity War because she was young Gamera, and apparently she did it in the Barbie movie as well. Film I haven't watched, but apparently she was in that as well.
I saw a photo of that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's quite interesting. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's, definitely an episode to. I can see why I kind of see why they hyped it up and they kind of went to the cinema with it, but you know, because they've never done that before. It's a single episode from Disney Plus going into the cinema for you to watch. Yeah.
Although didn't they do Kenobi once that was all out? You could go and watch the full thing in the cinema. I'm
not sure, but this was just the one episode off, so everybody knew. Oh, something was going to go down.
To be fair, with the cliffhanger they left us on, and we talked about this on stream, it was going to be one or two things, and it was going to be a massive episode either way. Yeah. I'm so excited for the coming episode 6, because again, that should be fantastic. We know what's going to happen next we know what must happen next with that, because
definitely
there's only one place it can go now, which was the other of my theories, wasn't it? So yeah, that's got to be that's got to be a good episode as well. I'm so ready for that. Actually, I'm not. I'm gonna cry with joy because it's gonna be fantastic. I can tell.
There's one thing I forgot to mention. We got live action Loaf Cat. They are so adorable. Yes.
Oh, I love the Loaf Cats. I want one. I'm surprised they haven't made a plushie of one yet.
I know.
I'm surprised because, again, Beth wanted one. She was like, oh, I want one. I was like, I'll see if there's a plushie, and I couldn't find one. I'm so surprised they haven't made one. But I'm hoping that one will come out in the near future.
I know. I've probably mentioned this before. I don't know if it was on the podcast, but it's a shame that Ray doesn't get to see the reaction that he does, because there's so many people that say, yeah, Balin is my favourite character, because he's not quite evil, is he? He's like,
no, he's
like in the middle, which is
yeah. So it's funny you mentioned that, actually. So like we were saying, or like I was just saying about it being a fantastic piece of film work and writing, Ray's depiction of Balin's scroll, was it, or something?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
That character is by far one of the best characters in the series.
Like, every single line he delivers is amazing. The way that he does it.
Yeah. That character is another
he hardly
level.
Needs any dialogue, but he does an amazing
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's how you know it's a good character. They've not got a lot of dialogue, but it's the way he carries himself and the way he delivers those lines.
And it's only when someone pointed this out, and this is what got me in when I saw him in the trailer. The way he's holding his lightsaber. Someone said he's holding it like a knight. And I was like, oh my god, that's what it was. I knew there was something different about how he held it, and it couldn't quite click with me. I was like, what is it? But it's unique, and we haven't seen it before, and I love that.
That matches his character so well, because I would say that his mannerisms and his... We might not agree necessarily with his goal.
No.
But his view on things is very much that of what we would expect of a knight.
And for those that have,
like the promise that he made,
and for those that have seen it, the Sabine scene with him,
that's very much that kind of knightly honor, being true to your word. You know, no, I've made a promise, I will stand by it, I will deliver on that. It's such a unique character. It's unlike any kind of Jedi or Sith or, you know, anywhere in between those two that we've seen before. Fantastic performance, fantastic delivery. Do you know what, actually, talking about the way he delivers his lines and the way he carries himself as that character, it reminds me of, and I can't think of his name now, it's escaping me, the guy who played Professor Snape in the Harry Potter films. What's his name? I can't think of his name.
Oh my god.
But I would say it's up there with that kind of performance. That's it, Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
I would say Ray Stevenson's performance is up there with Alan Rickman as Snape. Because the way he plays that character is just unique and superb. You know, everyone looks at Alan Rickman and says, oh my god, like, that's a perfect performance as Snape. Everyone talks about him as a fantastic actor. I think we could say the same for Ray here as Balin. I realise that's high praise, but again, if you've seen the series, you'll know what we're on about.
Overall,
I don't think there's a lot of actors that you can put on that kind of pedestal.
Enjoying it, regardless.
Definitely.
Very good. And, you know, this was only meant to be a first impressions, but we could talk about this all day, can't we? Despite us not being spoiler-free.
I know, it's so difficult dancing around the spoilers, but there's so much I can say about it. If you haven't watched it, guys, you're missing out. Please go and watch it. Treat yourself. It's amazing. I'm going to let you...
Not to mention the banger of a score for the outro.
As
soon as that... It's on Spotify, by the way, at the moment. And
is it?
Yeah, it's on Spotify. As soon as it was on Spotify, it's Kevin Kilner that also did the Clone Wars. He did the Clone Wars and soundtrack.
I bet that's Dave though. Dave's gone. Come do this for me as well.
Dave's gone like, yeah. Can you do the soundtrack for Ahsoka, please?
Oh look, you did some banging scores for me there. Come and do this for me. Let's knock it out of the park.
Yeah, I've kind of been listening to it on repeat. It's so good.
It is a good score. Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Look, Tom, I can gush about this all day.
Yeah.
You've got other things to talk about as well.
We're gonna circle back to gaming. This was a topic. This was a game that was announced at Gamescom last month. So I think it's a good time to kind of talk about it now that it's kind of out there. Expedition, a Mudrunner game. As you all know, we love our Sims, and we particularly love SnowRunner. Mudrunner was the previous game. There's now a spin-off game for that. So, it's the same developers. It's going to have a 2024 release date. And here's the first point. Obviously, there were so many details that you could take from it. But I'm going to take all the new stuff that we knew rather than, because there's a lot of crossover, or this looks like similar to this, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say before we get into it that there's a lot carried over from SnowRunner.
Yeah. So this was the first kind of question mark. Now just listen to the consoles that's going on. PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and X, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
Okay.
Last gen and current gen.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I'm wondering why.
I mean,
game coming out in 2024. It's not. It's very rare now that something's going on last gen. I'm not dissing last gen at all. Some people are probably still on last gen, but
yeah. Well, I think. I mean, there's still some supply issues, isn't there? Because, I mean, try and go on Xbox Series X now.
PlayStation is now a lot better.
They're sold out everywhere.
You can still get PlayStation now.
But yeah, I wonder if it's... I mean,
yeah.
They still carry quite a high price tag as well. I mean, I've looked at getting an Xbox Series X. Not that I really play console that much anymore, but I looked at it and went, I don't want to spend 500 quid on it. In fact, I think I might be a little bit over that, but do you know what I mean? It might be that, and people are going, developers are going, we still need to recuperate our costs, and maybe that's why they're still releasing it on the last gen.
See, my argument for that is if you have a PC, you don't need an Xbox now, which I think is a great move from Microsoft anyway, regardless. Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crossplay as well, which eliminates the need to play a specific console, or specifically on PC.
Unless it's an exclusive, but yeah.
Yeah.
What's also interesting this time around, which I think me and you are going to be so glad for, no Epic Games exclusive this time. It is on Steam this time.
Thank God.
The Steam page is there.
Do you know what? Like, I appreciate that we have used Epic Games and we went in early on it and picked it up on there, but I don't really like it. You
don't understand the amount of times I've considered, screw it, I'm going to buy SnowRunner again when it's on sale on Steam.
It's on sale at the moment. So I think I saw it's like 15 quid. Just whilst I was looking at Train Sim, it came up on there, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cheap."
Yeah, I've seen it every so often when it's been on sale. I'm like, I'm so tempted.
I was wrong. It's £13. It might not be on sale by the time this goes out, but I mean, definitely worth picking up if you haven't picked it up, guys.
So, Expeditions is going to be exploration-based missions. Now, on the Steam page, this is what it says. It says, you're going to manage your camp by building research structures and hiring experts to unlock new skills and possibilities during your expeditions. There's a mention of build and manage your base as well. Does that mean we get to have skill trees? Hiring people?
So I've wondered about this because they sort of showed off the base building in the announcement trailer.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's just going to act as your main menu. Is it just going to be you go through and do? Because I think you said before it's kind of mission based.
Yeah. So what I'm going to mention it now and not later, which is it's not open world. So it's not going to be like SnowRunner. It is going to be all these kind of mission-based kind of menu aspects, which kind of puts me off a bit. But at the same time, it's a new and improved SnowRunner / Mudrunner-esque game that we both love. And I don't think...
Yeah.
Although that's a big downside for us, because we like that kind of open world-ness.
Well...
I think it's not going to put us completely off, I don't think.
Well, this is the thing. So, obviously, going back to what I was saying just briefly, I wonder if it's just going to be that you complete those missions and then it upgrades your camp, which, as I say, acts as your main menu. I don't know. I mean, I don't know much yet, but I wonder if that's how they're going to work it, because otherwise I don't see how the camp is really going to work.
Yeah.
Unless it's just one map and then you venture out into that same map. I don't know. But yeah, it not being open world, I mean, they kind of already have the challenges system. I don't know if you've seen on the main menu, there is a challenges option, and it will drop you into a map with a certain vehicle, certain vehicles, and you know, it might be a time trial, or it might be you have to stay in one vehicle, or whatever the case may be. I wonder if it's just going to copy that. I mean, it's not something I've ever done.
No, neither.
I'll be honest, I stick to the open world and I like to do the jobs, and that's my fun with SnowRunner. And
obviously, all we have is the announcement trailer. I mean, I know some content creators got to actually play a build at Gamescom, which was interesting. I think Game Riot, he did a video on it as well. Of some of the details that you picked up, which is some of the details I'm about to mention as well. So they've actually played it, and you know, they haven't said entirely bad things, but I'd like to see some more aspects, maybe a gameplay trailer when it's closer to launch. So that's what I'd like to see. So as for some of the new things, which is quite interesting, it has an anchor device, a limited range from your vehicle. So obviously, normally we have to anchor it from our vehicle to somewhere else, or on a physical point like a tree, or something like that. And this is actually in relation to the maps, which I'll get to in a little bit. And I think it's because there wouldn't be much anchor points, so that's why we've got our own portable anchor device. But I think it's such a step up from SnowRunner. They're thinking outside the box of what can make this game even more fun. And that's one of them.
Well, yeah, I guess it's focused on that exploration aspect. So, or that's what it looks like from the name and the trailer anyway.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that you need tools where you can effectively save yourself if you get stuck, because you're not going to have basically what we get in SnowRunner. You know, SnowRunner, you're largely working around known tracks. Yes, they're muddy tracks in the middle of nowhere, so you need to pull yourself out of that mud, but largely you're working in these kind of populated areas, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm probably thinking that you don't get to switch vehicles. I think that whatever vehicle you get going is, obviously this isn't confirmed, but I'm speculating that it might be the only vehicle that you're allowed to be in.
Oh, so you choose it before you deploy effectively?
So. I think you choose the amount of players, your drivers, your car beforehand, I think. And then you dive in. Yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
So another piece of equipment was the use of the reconnaissance drone. There's also a metal detector and camera drone and they're there to locate caches and value equipment, or so it's been mentioned, I think, on the Steam page. But that drone seems interesting to use. I know it has its own dedicated pad. And we know a few things about the HUD from the trailer. It has a compass, a signal indicator, so it's got some range. There's a height and distance meter, and it can find objectives on the map and scan things. Now, we're not quite sure what it does scan, but we know it does scan. Yeah.
They'll probably expand on that as we get closer to release.
I think it's one of those things that's quite cool probably quite cool to use. Just use the drone to scout ahead, I think.
I can see you using it for loads of photos.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Do you know what though? Talking about this, I hope that this isn't the way they go forwards with it. I know you've got a couple more points to discuss on this, but I hope this is a spin-off game and they do this for a little bit, but we come back to another game like SnowRunner. Yeah. You know, some kind of development on that. I hope that is the way it goes, because if it does end up going down this route and that is the next main game, I don't know if I'll stick with the series. But I know it's very early on to say that. We haven't seen much yet, but from the trailer we have seen, I feel like we're losing a lot of what I enjoyed about SnowRunner and Mudrunner.
What's also interesting about what we saw in that trailer is there's an inventory icon on the HUD. There's also a gauge HUD icon with an up and down indicator. And people are speculating, because this feature has been confirmed by them, saying there's going to be tyre pressures included, meaning if you have low pressures for too long, you'll damage your tyres. Okay. So tyre pressures are going to be a thing now.
I wonder if they'll also introduce punctures then.
Probably.
They've got the facility for tyre pressure, and something you have to worry about, is it going to be possible that you can puncture your tyre and then, you know, if you keep pushing, you're going to end up with a flat?
I'm also wondering with this game is if they are potentially testing some features for the next SnowRunner, Mudrunner game.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be okay with that if they want to try out things like this and
with a
effectively treat it like a tech demo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
They're maybe testing some waters, particularly the tyre pressures, those gauges. Inventory icon's interesting. I wonder what we're getting out of it. Inventory, that's quite an interesting thing to have. The final thing I do want to mention is about the maps, because I did say about the anchor earlier. Not much.
Oh, yeah.
And the maps we have. So there's going to be themes of deserts, rugged forests, mountains that have pin dresses, forgotten ruins, and we have some map names that I noticed. So we've got Grand Canyon and Arizona map. So
okay,
they're quite they're quite deserty and open. So I understand why there's now an anchor device to use, because there isn't going to be much trees there, is there?
No, you're going to be...
It's very rocky.
trying to find a friendly word for it. Out of luck. add a word on the front.
Out of luck and rolling down mountains and cliff edges.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, one of the content creators that had the tech demo said someone climbed up a cliff edge with that anchor device. So they used it to climb up something. Which, probably not the way it was designed to, but...
No, but that's cool that you can, though.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
I think there'll be fun things you can play around with that anchor.
Definitely. Right, shall we move on? Because you have something Starfield related to talk about.
Yeah, so... I mean, I can't talk about a lot, because I haven't played a lot yet. Thanks to my illness, I've not been able to stream Starfield yet, and I've been trying to save it for the stream because I want to, you know, with some of the story games that we've been playing, I want to share that reaction on the stream, and I want to see people. Oh, sorry, I want people to see it raw. So I haven't played a lot, but the little bit I have played so far, I would say classic Bethesda RPG. Exactly the kind of story elements that I would expect from them, and certainly the kind of gameplay that I would expect, and it's definitely been very enjoyable so far. I'm loving the little sort of snapshot I have seen that I've played a little bit of myself. But I do have a couple of things to talk about. So, number one, the spaceships. I mean, on the plus side, I like the customizability that you have and that you can sit and build your own spaceship. I mean, we've seen people making, you know, the Millennium Falcon, an X-Wing. I've seen a Pelican from Halo. I'm glad that we can sit and do these things.
I've seen Thunderbird 2. Someone
Oh,
has
really?
made Thunderbird 2, yes.
I kind of want that, I'm not going to lie. Like, don't get me wrong, I like that we have these things, and that's great, but I kind of am a little bit disappointed that it is get in your ship, press a button, oh, you're in space, and then, oh, look at a system, and oh, I've landed. I feel like the space bit is a little bit of a gimmick.
Do you know what's ruined your experience? I know you've not played too much of the game, but do you know what's ruined your experience? Star Citizen has ruined it for you.
Well, more Elite Dangerous, but yeah. I get more from Elite Dangerous, and I can still get out of my ship and walk around in Elite.
But one of the arguments that was, oh, it's going to be a Star Citizen killer. It's not, because it's an addition to Star Citizen, because it's an... What people are forgetting is it's not a space sim, it is an RPG. It's still a Bethesda RPG, so there are going to be those loading screen elements.
I mean, that's definitely the way I'm trying to look at it. You know, if I want that open world experience where I can forge my life in the stars, basically, then yeah, I've got Elite Dangerous or Star Citizen for that, and they will fill that niche for me, and that's brilliant. If I want a fantastic RPG with a banging story, then I've got a Bethesda game. And obviously now we've got Starfield, which fills that kind of space theme with a story.
As people keep saying, it's Fallout 4 in space.
Yeah. And you know, I can totally get behind that. One of the other, or this kind of leads on to my other disappointment though, or the other thing that I'm a little bit miffed about, is we were told about the exploration.
Yeah.
And you know, being able to go and explore these worlds and stuff. But what I've, again, not saying I've seen because I've not played a lot, but I've seen a lot of videos online about this, talking about invisible barriers. You know, you explore so far in a world, you know, you land somewhere, you go running off in a random direction, you hit an invisible barrier. You know, you can see these mountains off in the distance, but you can't run towards them, you can't go and explore them, you can't go hiking through them.
So I get the
you can't just track to an area.
Yeah. So Todd Howard explained how this works, because it's all procedural generated. They're all done on tiles, and those tiles can only be so big. So that's why.
But so here's the other thing though. At least the video I was watching the other day. If you know, you look at a planet obviously and you choose your place to land, right?
Yeah.
And as you said, there's a tile, so you can run up to the edge of that, but then you're stuck there, right? You can't get past it. But if you go back to space and you go, okay, well, I'm going to land the next tile over, you know, you move it over a little bit and say, I want to land there. Suddenly that mountain range you were looking at, it's gone. It's because it generates a different seed, it doesn't carry over whatever you were looking at before. So that world you were looking at, the outside world that you wanted to explore, well, that's gone. Doesn't exist now because you created a whole new world.
This tiles does explain why there isn't any land vehicles, because you could be able to get there so quickly. But I've also seen people say, obviously, there was a lot of speculation with this procedural generating and the tiles before proper launch, and it was more early access, premium edition, all that kind of stuff. But also, I've seen people post-launch just say that they don't notice it, because they're not going to spend... Some people have said, oh yeah, it took me 10 minutes to get to the barrier, but realistically speaking, some other people say, oh, it's taken me 30 minutes to get there. But the fact that you've had to walk all that way, there's not going to be a lot of people that's going to walk that way, because you're going to get bored halfway through and think, nah, I'm just gonna go back. You know, yes,
I guess it depends.
There will be some people that will, but I don't think it will be the mass majority. And I think that's why they've done it the way they've done it, because I don't think a lot of people will hit those barriers when they've been exploring.
Yeah, I think it depends on what kind of gameplay you want. I mean, I know from my experience playing Skyrim, I didn't really play Fallout. Something I need to look into. Please don't hunt me down, listeners and watchers. I know that I am in the wrong for not playing Fallout. Now we've got that out of the way. My experience is playing Skyrim. And I know from playing Skyrim and from friends that play Skyrim, over the course of its life, we've probably played hundreds of different playthroughs, creating an entirely different character each time. And I know people do that with Fallout as well. Again, I have friends that play it, so I understand that it's a similar thing. It's kind of a staple of Bethesda RPGs. So I expect it's going to be the same with Starfield. I know that one of the characters you can create is a bit of an explorer. Someone who wants to go exploring. Someone is going to create that character and go, yes, I'm going to dedicate this playthrough to exploring the world. I'm going to go and explore everything I can, find everything that I can, and collect all the materials. And it's those people. Yes, it might be a small group of people to start with that go for that exclusive gameplay, because most people will want to shoot things, right? But eventually you will get a lot of people that want to do that and then go, well, I can't actually do what my character's made for. Which, again, it's thinking certainly more in the long term for that aspect. I think people are going to come across that a lot, and I think it's going to leave a bit of a sour taste in people's mouths. It definitely didn't seem to be sold like that.
Might fix this is actually Todd Howard said that Starfield's made for modding. I'm pretty sure modders are going to be able to exploit that and fix that potentially.
I mean, hopefully
in the future. So
hopefully, I mean,
there's a bunch of mods right now, but I know official mods are coming in 2024 from Bethesda. So that's
I wouldn't bother with that. Yeah, I mean, I know that before it had even released, people got it through obviously the early access, the 5-day early access, and then even in that time, we had some of the quality of life stuff we've come to expect from Skyrim and Fallout already appearing as a version for Starfield. So I know that the modding community is already looking into things, and I know that we will get some funky and wacky as well as amazing mods. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they develop that and improve that, because I certainly think modding communities improve games. They bring us a lot of things that we think should be added. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether that is something that gets addressed and something that gets, I don't want to say fixed, but improved. Let's say. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see. I think I know we say this a lot, but it's another one to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
It's all well and good talking about it now when the game has just come out, but I feel like with a lot of things, you have to give it time and see just what happens.
Yeah. Now we've heard a bit about your experience. As for mine, I've only played 3 hours. As I've explicitly said on this podcast many times before, there are lots of games coming out that I'm interested in, and my stream schedule is all surrounding that. So I've only had a chance to play Starfield once, unfortunately. I was meant to play it a bit more, but on the same week that Starfield came out, Starbreeze, who are the developers that make Payday 3, decided, let's do the open beta on the weekend. So I decided, okay, I'm changing my stream schedule.
Yeah, there's no way you're missing that.
No, there was no way I was going to miss that. And then obviously, the week of this recording has been the Crew Motorfest, which I've been enjoying as well. And then obviously the following week is actually going to be the release of Payday. And then maybe on the last week of September I'll get to play some Starfield again. But I've only played 3 hours. I'm only roughly 3 hours in. I can't say I've got an opinion on the game yet. I've only played it in one session of 3 hours. I'm not much of a big RPG person. I haven't really played much. I've played Cyberpunk. I would kind of say Red Dead, GTA kind of are on that, but they're more action adventure than actual pure RPG. They have some choices, but they're not a pure RPG like Cyberpunk is. In fact, I think Cyberpunk was probably my first. And I don't count the one attempt that I tried to play Fallout 4 on stream because, I could hardly get to the bunker before.
It didn't go very well, did it?
The game kept crashing as I was going to the bunker. I spent 40 minutes on character customization, did all the stuff in the house in Fallout 4, tried to go to the bunker, crash, crash. Yeah,
Oh.
it doesn't, in my eyes, it doesn't count that I've played Fallout 4 because I haven't actually experienced what the game is. So,
Oh, mate.
technically, Starfield's my first RPG, but so far, I'm thinking everybody's overhyped at this point. Starfield, it just feels like an RPG. It feels like a really good story-based game. I feel that people have been overhyping it to the point where it's this amazing, groundbreaking, new, revolutionary game. But obviously, I haven't got that far in to actually fully confirm that, from my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's my kind of opinion so far, 3 hours in. You know, I've hardly got to anything. I still think I'm in that kind of tutorial phase still, I think. You know?
Yeah.
I still feel I'm still in the sort of introductory aspect to it. So, yeah. But the one thing that I did find frustrating is the, what they call the digilocks. I still haven't got my head round them.
Right. To be fair, it took me a couple of goes, but I get it now.
And the first mission, right? I think you know what one I'm on about. I think you've got this far. I don't know how far you've got. The pirate nest.
Yeah, I've done that.
Oh, you've done that first entire mission, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, can I ask you something? Did yours end up in a fight, or did you get away?
Oh no, I walked away.
I managed to sweet talk them, and I got away.
So did I.
Yeah. I was very surprised. I was like, I'm bad at the negotiation stuff. Oh no. The funny thing was,
what?
The funny thing was about that mission was you go to the roof, don't you? Right.
Yeah.
I spent like 30 minutes trying to find that goddamn ladder because I didn't know it was a ladder, by the way, because to me it blended into the environment so well. I didn't realize it was a way for me to actually go up.
Oh, Tom.
I spent so long. So I do apologize to my mods on stream, Jay, and everyone that watched me, that, you know, I was like, where is it? I went outside. I went all around. No, it's just one entrance, one in.
Tom.
I went up and down each level so many times thinking, I've missed something. The mark is there, but how do I get up there?
Oh, Tom. Oh, mate.
Because to me, that is too good environment design.
Too good. Right, okay. Yeah, you got used to that. They really developed their worlds.
Deary me.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, my gripes aside, I'm still excited to play more of it. I love a Bethesda RPG. I love the story. That's what I play it for. So
I think my problem was, I really want to still play Starfield. So I think what I'm going to try and do for stream is blast through the campaign as quickly as possible, get to New Game Plus, then that New Game Plus, because I've heard that there's some brilliant new aspects to it. Additions to it when you go through New Game Plus. Save New Game Plus for me and continue my original save on stream. That way I can play it in my own time and on stream instead of me waiting weeks and weeks and weeks to play it again, because I really do want to play it again. But I can't because I've got to wait for stream, and because I've got all these other games coming out, I want to cover those as well on stream. So I'm like, I've got so much to play in 2 little days.
I guess it depends on whether you're wanting to share that initial reaction.
Yeah, I wanted. That's what I wanted to. I was considering starting.
Because obviously, if you blitz through it, so you can do.
Yeah. Because obviously, I don't want to repeat the exact same thing again on stream. I just want to continue it.
Of course.
Because I mean, I suppose when you've completed the main story and game, that means you've got everything at your disposal anyway. Everything's available. You can go. Nothing. I don't think anything is locked in Starfield, but it's that sense of you've met everybody that you need to, and you know what you're doing, and you've kind of got used to the game that way. Yeah,
I mean, realistically, it's more about the story and the way the story develops. Yeah. And you can blitz through the main story, but certainly my experience with Skyrim, because I tried to do that at one point, was that I then trapped myself in an area because I wasn't high enough level to deal with the enemy. So I was getting my arse handed to me every time I walked into this room. But I also couldn't walk away because I trapped myself in there, and I couldn't go and do like a side quest, which I needed to do to level up and get some better gear. You know, I mean, then it was like crafting the sword and the armor that I needed, but I didn't have a high enough level. That's the only issue and concern I have with blitzing through it.
I must clarify, when I say I'm going to quickly go through it, I don't mean I'm going to rush it purposely. I am going to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
But I think my main kind of goal would be to go through the story to start with, because honestly, the one thing that actually sold me to buy Starfield was actually the shipbuilding. Not the story, not the exploration, the shipbuilding. Because it's so cool and so modular that I want to do that. So I want to get enough credits and get enough parts to be able to build something. So yeah, I've noticed some people are building some of these big premium ships from Star Citizen in Starfield.
Oh, wow.
Ones that are still in concept for Star Citizen, and they're just building them in Starfield. And be like, yeah, you can get this ship.
Embarrassing.
You can get this ship even cheaper. Yeah. It probably
That's just embarrassing.
I just find it funny. It's quite good. It won't be the same, obviously, but yeah, it's the general shape, I think, and the kind of aspects of it. Yeah. Right, shall we move on to the next thing?
Yes.
The next thing is quite recent. This is to do with Unity, who make obviously the Epic Games launcher and their own. No, that's not right. Sorry, they don't make the Epic Games launcher. Epic Games make the Epic Games launcher. Yeah, my brain's working. Unity, who make the Unity game engine, have introduced a new fee for 2024 for developers. So, the entire developer community has been up in arms about this, because this is what they've done. They plan to add a runtime fee, meaning each time a game is downloaded or installed, the developer of the game is charged. This fee will only be introduced once the game reaches a certain level of success. Developers who use Unity's free services will be charged 20 cents or 16. What's that currency again? Oh my god. Pence!
Oh, Tom, has your brain melted? Would you like me to take over?
My brain's gone. What's going on? I don't even know my own currency anymore, but I know America's.
Oh, Tom.
So 16p every time the game is downloaded, but only if the game makes $200,000 in 12 months and is downloaded over 200,000 times. Now, this threshold is up to 1 million downloads and $1 million for developers who pay the Unity's Pro services, and the amount that they will be charged per download is less than developers who have free accounts. Now, there's a lot of people up in arms because obviously the people that make games in their own time, people that are indie devs, don't have the money to do that. But obviously, you know, there is that threshold. So that's why lots of people were a bit concerned. I think it may have been to do with the wording of how they did it, but here are the concerns that I found out, particularly over Twitter. They've been very vocal over Twitter. So the developers who offer free to install games getting charged for installs despite not earning from them. Developers are being charged for re-downloads, meaning gamers who dislike a product could in theory re-down the game repeatedly without playing it, forcing the developers to pay a fee every time they do, or if you just reinstall it because you want to play it again. Games that are legally downloaded still lead to the developer being charged despite not receiving money that they are owed. If small developers who make games on Unity substantially pull their games from digital storefronts to avoid download fees, it could solely benefit the biggest developers. So, I think they have released a statement. I think they've adjusted some aspects because there's been this huge outcry. I've been seeing all over Twitter. Oh yeah, learn Unreal Engine. I saw earlier today. Somebody was about to release a paid course for Unreal Engine and decide, screw it, I'm whacking it on YouTube for free. So,
oh wow,
the devs that have made Among Us have come out because they use Unity, and they're like, we're not sure what's going to be happening to our game. We might have to pause future updates in order to transfer everything to a different engine, and that's what's going on in the development world right now. People are considering, do we need to switch engines? Colossal Order have put out a statement as well, and they make City Skylines. And guess what engine is running on City Skylines 2?
Oh no!
Unity. Yep.
Tom.
They are still continuing with City Skylines 2, no matter what happens at the moment. They might reevaluate at a later time, but they're going to be okay for launch, basically.
Okay.
But it is worrying. There's so many of these big games, because even something like Colossal Order, it will really make a dent in their cache. Every time someone installs something, they're charged, even if it is 16p.
Yeah, but
it's going to add up.
And as you said, or as was mentioned on Twitter, if that's every time you re-download a game as well,
yeah,
that's gonna not just eat into their profits. That's gonna eat into long term, they're gonna lose money.
And think about the indie devs as well. People that aren't really making much money but want to learn or want to make games themselves, and maybe somebody like you or me, and just want to get themselves together, learn Unity, and then start making their game. And and they they put it on the store maybe for free or a low price, and only a select number of people. But let's say they do meet the threshold, they're gonna have to pay that.
Well, it's funny you mentioned about the Among Us devs talking about potentially moving to another engine, because the immediate thought I had is this suddenly going to become an engine that no one uses?
Yeah.
Because every developer out there just goes, sod paying that fee, absolutely no way.
Yeah.
And just suddenly everyone moves off of it.
That's why so many people are just going over to the likes of Unreal Engine. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Come and learn Unreal Engine. I've been seeing a lot of tweets saying, "Oh yeah, this here's some tips about Unreal Engine. Here's some sources. Here's some YouTube videos. Go watch them." I mean, a few years ago, I started learning Unreal in my spare time because I wanted to learn some level design, which is pretty cool. Because I believe October is the month of I think it's called Blockout October, which for those people that don't know, blockouts is the piece in level design that's everything that's just black and white, and everything's literally a block. That's why it's called a blockout. Everything you see in the level. So, yeah. I did quite enjoy myself on that. But Unity, not really delved into much. But yeah, we're going to have to see what happens with some developers. They might have to move over to a new engine, which I can imagine is a completely huge chore to do.
Yeah, I can just see the team behind Unity, or the company, sorry. I can just see them suddenly losing a lot of traffic.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I can see a lot of developers moving off of it, as you said, especially small developers, or people that want to put something out for free. Certainly not going to be doing that, because then they're paying for people to play their game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't see this going down well at all.
No.
Unity might find themselves in trouble.
Talking of developers, you have a specific developer to talk about next, don't you?
Yeah. So I want to talk about Volition. Probably best known for the Saints Row franchise. Volition has closed down. I was just looking through our DMs because I sent you the statement. So this was around about the start of September. They put out a statement to say that they were closing down. They've been making games for 30 years. 30 years. And yeah, they are no more. And I think the reason I wanted to talk about it is that I think it's always sad when we lose a developer. Whether you like their games or not, I mean, as they said in their statement, there's a lot of games they worked on that perhaps you didn't associate with them. I certainly didn't. Descent, Free Space, you know, a couple of other games as well as obviously the Saints Row franchise. It's always, like I say, whether you agree with their games or not, it's always sad to lose another developer because that's another team working on different IPs, working on different games, and providing us with a different experience to other people. Competition is important in any industry.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, with competition, the person who wins is us. You know, the consumer at the end of it all. And I mean, I enjoyed the Saints Row franchise. I enjoyed those games. I didn't play the latest one, the sort of the reboot that they started. Was it last year? I think we said.
2022.
You know, and I know we talked about that there was some poor reception to that, and you know, it didn't go down that well. So maybe that was not the final straw, but you know, a step towards this end. I don't know. I think they denied that was the case, but you know, I mean, let's not beat about the bush. It probably has had an effect, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's sad. I think they made some brilliant games over the years. Some hits, some misses, sure. But yeah, I think when an old time developer like Volition closes, we all lose, and I think it's certainly a sad moment for the games industry as a whole. I don't know how you feel about it, Tom. I don't know how much of their stuff you played.
Not a lot. I was about to say I don't really have much to say about Volition because the only time I've played a Saints Row game is when was the Saints Row 3 remaster on that week where I decided, hey, chat, choose my games for me to stream, and I played it once, and then that's it. I have not indulged myself in the Saints Row franchise. I was actually looking forward. I'm one of the people that was probably looking forward to playing the reboot actually, but I know it's been not well received. But I know people will hate on things, and yeah, I've been known to like games that people don't really like anyway. So I think at one point I was going to pick it up anyway. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it still can. It's not like they've said, oh yeah, because we've shut down, you can no longer get the reboot, because you can. But
probably only a matter of time though.
It will. It was one that I was relatively interested to maybe check out and pick up at one point. But yeah, I haven't really experienced their games, and they don't. Hence why, when you picked it up to me, I'd already heard about it, but I didn't think, oh, podcast topic, because you know I didn't really think much of.
Not something that stood out to you.
No.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, my involvement really was the Saints Row games. I didn't really play. I don't think I played much else. To be fair, there's games I didn't realise they worked on, so there could be other things that I've played, sure.
Yeah.
But like I say, I think for me it's more that loss of a big developer, an old developer as well. Like I say, 30 years in the industry.
They've been going that long, to be fair.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's always a big loss. It'll be a shame that we don't see more coming from them. Like I say, the few games that I've mentioned, or that they've mentioned even, definitely some good games there. Yeah. I think from both of us here at the Fandoms Edge podcast, I just want to say a big thank you to Volition for everything they've done over the years, and hopefully the guys behind the scenes, the people working there, hopefully you've all got something to go to next. Hopefully we'll see more from you.
Yeah, I know a lot of friends definitely enjoyed and loved the Saints Row franchise, so yeah.
Yeah, it was a real contender to GTA.
Yeah.
I think it went more down the wacky side, but...
Yeah, definitely the wacky side. For the 3 hours I played, yeah, definitely wacky.
But yeah, definitely a contender or a sort of a rival for GTA, and I kind of enjoyed that different take on it, but certainly the same vein of game. Yeah. I think that's all I've really got to say on Volition. I just wanted to say thank you and a goodbye to them, I think.
And talking of goodbyes, that's going to end this month's podcast. Not exactly a happy end, but not a happy end. But for those that have been listening over on Spotify or whatever podcasting platform, or over on YouTube, watching us, seeing our reactions to things, thank you very much for listening and watching. Our next podcast will be on the last month of every Wednesday of the month. So our next one will be on the 25th of October. Totally didn't have to just check that. Yes. To
be sure, I had to check as well.
Yeah. If you'd like to stay up to date, you can follow our socials. Both our Discord links are in the description below. Both mine and Joe's Twitter. His will be FamilarForce, mine will be Maverick RNG. And if you'd like to see us over on Twitch or YouTube, you can do so. Joe and me both co-stream Euro Truck or American Truck Simulator on Tuesdays. You can find Joe on twitch.tv/FamiliarForce. Mine will be Maverick RNG. My stream schedule is usually Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, but it's all over the place with all these new games coming out. And there's also the YouTube channel. FamiliarForce or at Maverick RNG are our socials. And if you'd like to give us a rating, give us a follow, give us a review on whatever you're listening on or watching on, by all means. And if you want to suggest something, by all means, contact us via our Twitter or our Discord. We'll be very happy to know what to improve, or even what to put in, or even if you want to guest star in the next Fandoms Edge podcast.
Ooh.
So we will see you in October in Spooky Month. So we'll see you guys later.
On the Fandoms Edge.